I was standing in the bread aisle at Walmart deliberating over a decision that should have been very, very simple. 2 jars of peanut butter for $10 or 1 jar of peanut butter for $6.49. For most people, that's not even a decision. You grab the 2 for 1 and go. You save money, you move on. But I couldn't move. I couldn't move because I knew my period was coming in a few days. And I knew that if I bought both jars of peanut butter, I wouldn't have enough to buy pads for my period. That was the moment I decided my life had to change. Welcome. I'm Annalise Carrington, and this is Soliloquies N Sepia. This is a transformation podcast for women who have been living the assigned version of their lives and are ready to find out who they actually are underneath it all. In theater, a soliloquy is a moment a character speaks her truth. It's not to the audience, it's not to another character, but it's to herself. It's the moment of radical honesty before the decision that is made that can change everything. This is what every episode of this podcast is. A permission slip. Permission to want more, to question what you were told, to stop living in quiet desperation and start listening to the voice inside that has been trying to get your attention for years. Welcome to Soliloquies N Sepia. Here's the backstory. The crazy thing about this life is that it will let you keep going along until you hit a brick wall face first. It will force you to realize that you've been going the wrong direction, and it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. When I found myself in Walmart that day, I wasn't on welfare, but on paper, I wasn't even poor. Over time, I had lost myself completely. I had given away my wants, my needs, my desires, one concession at a time, to participate in relationships that did not serve me. My humanity had been quietly and slowly stripped away, little by little. I didn't notice it was happening. So there I was, standing in the middle of Walmart, having an existential crisis. The life I was living in that moment was so subterranean to the life that I had dreamed of. I felt shame, disappointment, and despair, unworthiness, all the negative feelings crept in. But underneath all of that, I could hear something else. It was a quiet voice. It had started off as a small inkling, a little knowing in the back of my mind, and it had grown louder and more insistent with every concession I made, with every attempt to fit into a mold that was not created for me. That day in Walmart, the voice stopped whispering. It showed me who I had allowed myself to become. Little, desperate, destitute, and depleted. This was the mirror that life held up to me in that moment. Good girl lie number 1. Self-sacrifice is not sacred. The Walmart moment was a mirror, and it was showing me my own demise. In that moment, I knew God did not call me to be broke. God did not call me to chase acceptance or to earn love and affection. My own wants, my needs, they were not selfish. I was not created to be someone's emotional toilet. Once I felt that conviction, nothing could deter me. I asked God to open the doors where He wanted me and to close the doors where I wasn't meant to be. The outside voices were very loud in opposition to my inner voice, but I trusted my internal guidance, which was God speaking through my intuition. And by that point, my intuition was screaming that I had been in this place too long, this situation, this cesspool of dead dreams for more than I needed to be. I left with my clothes and my books and an upcoming paycheck. I stepped off into a cliff, into the black unknown. My guiding lights were 2 scriptures. The first one was Deuteronomy 31, verse 8. That verse says, "And the Lord, He it is that doth go before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed." And Jeremiah 17, 7 and 8 was the second verse that propelled me forward. "Blessed is the person who trusts in the Lord and whose hope the Lord is. For she shall be like a tree planted by the water, who spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, and shall not be careful in the time of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. These verses were my assurance. These verses helped to bolster the faith that allowed me to jump. Step by step, opportunities opened for me. Help appeared in unimaginable ways. God held me, and in the words of my wisdom circle sisters, He showed me that I had wings and that I could fly. Imagination and the bigger pattern. What I've come to know is this. Every person who has ever built something extraordinary has had a Walmart moment. Maybe it didn't look exactly like mine, but somewhere in their story there is a chapter of standing in the mud of depression, poverty, and despair before something in their lives shifted. There was a moment, a choice, a conviction that was so deep it overrode everything they had been told was possible. In the darkest season of my own despair, I heard Steve Harvey quote Albert Einstein. Imagination is the preview to an upcoming attraction. When I heard this, my soul literally leaped for joy because I knew I could do that. I could imagine. I had always been the one daydreaming about life, the life that I wanted, the people I wanted to meet, the things I wanted to accomplish. In school, they try to beat it out of you. Well-meaning people tell you to be realistic. But if your imagination is the key to your own treasure, then that means you are limitless. Two things became undeniably clear to me. The life that I had lived up until that point was not the life that God had called me to. And if I could imagine a better future, then I could have it. If you're standing between a brick wall and a raging river right now, if it feels like you've hit rock bottom and there's no way out, turn inward. Listen to that still small voice calling to you from within. Let your imagination run wild and believe in it. Believe. That voice, that inner guidance is God, guiding you through your own intuition. Reach out and grab it. Claim the life that is already yours. In every episode of Soliloquies N Sepia, I will always feature a book that has blessed my life. I used to read for fun, then I read for escape. Books got me out of my situations, books saved me, and now I'm the one writing books in order to bless someone else. I want to talk about this book right here. It's called The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. This book is very old, written by a guy who's dead and gone now. But in my darkest moment, when I was definitely in between the wall and a hard place, I heard something that Steve Harvey talked about. He talked about his low point. He talked about living in the car, but holding on to a dream that he had of being on TV. He told about the story when he was in grade school and his teacher said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "I want to be on TV." He said how everyone laughed at him, totally despised his dream, but he held on to it. His dad was the one who encouraged him to write it down every day and hold on. Later on, he talked about books that he came across that helped to propel his dream forward. This book is one of the books that he recommended, and so I picked it up. I'm going to be really honest with you. At first, I was offended because it does talk about God, but I felt like I had nothing to lose. I tried the principles, and they changed my life immensely. I want to recommend this book to you, especially if you're in a deep, dark place where you literally have nothing to lose. Try it. Apply the principles. They have turned my life around.